Behind the walls of a hard-time penitentiary, an ending begets a beginning. Bearing sentences many will not survive to fully serve, a core group of Texas condemned, 70 in number, toil, traveling a different path to freedom while never setting foot outside their prison's walls.
They gave me a purpose here, and I've got 25 more years before I even come up for parole, but I know God's got a purpose for me.
Men serving earthly time for the worst kind of sin, seeking salvation through a seminarian study, contemplation, fellowship, and prayer.
I've been to prison 4 times, and I have a heart to help people now, where I used to have a heart to take from people, but now I don't want to do that anymore. I want to help people.
4 long years in the making, it is a first of its kind graduation. Theological degrees hard-earned by now full-fledged inmate pastors on path to bring peace to hearts and minds in pain-ridden prisons across Texas.
You are to be men of justice. You are to love mercy, and you are to walk humbly with our God.
They are, in the truest sense, prison apostles, men of faith whose mission of reconciliation and spiritual relief has drawn deep support from the pragmatic and the powerful.
You have a responsibility to go show our colleagues and the taxpayers what a great investment this is.
You need to change the culture of the prison. You can't change the culture of the environment until you change the heart of the men. In
the expressions of these first 34, there is a tempered pride in purpose and selfless determination. They know beyond the handshakes and the diplomas lies the hardest of roads. Healing for those who've only known hurt. Forgiveness for those who can never pardon themselves.
One of the greatest things that I've learned in these last 4 years is what love is.
We're not going to be able to save everybody. I know that. But we are going to be able to save a lot of people. We're going to be able to change a lot of souls.
It's a slow process, but a lot of men's lives are changing. And these guys are showing a lot of the younger men that, hey, you don't have to go down this path that we went down. There's a better way.
For the lost, a promise of redemption. For the tormented, a peace they've never known. Men of profound faith offering shelter through Christ from a sin-sick world. In the footsteps of the first 34 are 150 at Darrington, itching to follow.
So we're going to change this prison system, one inmate at a time.
One heart at a time. God willing, it will happen in Texas. At Darrington Prison, Greg Groogan, Fox 26 News.
Tens of thousands of disabled kids here in Texas will soon have the benefit of unprecedented protection in their public schools.
That's because Governor Greg Abbott has now signed a law mandating surveillance cameras in their special ed classrooms. Fox 26's Greg Groogan has championed this topic, and he joins us now with more. Greg?
Don and Melinda, we have been in the thick of this battle more than 5 years with stories of unspeakable suffering within our public schools. Those stories, told to all willing to listen, helped win critical hearts and minds and fueled genuine change in the state of Texas. They were simply too numerous and too disturbing to dismiss as isolated outbursts of cruelty. In Fort Bend ISD, an autistic little girl shoved inside a file cabinet as punishment.
All we can say is that this teacher broke our hearts.
In Deer Park, a deeply disabled child disciplined with painful point-blank blast to the face from a spray bottle.
These aren't strategies that she used. This is child abuse. That's wrong in America. You don't get away with that.
Kiss.
In Katy, Cy-Fair, Huntsville, and New Caney, more horror stories emerged. Disabled children incapable of an outcry, with only the bruises on their bodies bearing witness to classroom abuse. Here and across Texas, outraged parents demanded cameras, electronic surveillance that never tires and can't be fired, both watchdog and deterrent.
A camera can change what is getting ready to happen.
With cameras, we can make prosecutions that will stick.
Peekaboo. Time and again, Fox 26 told their heartbreaking stories, and a state senator named Dan Patrick was listening.
And to give parents peace of mind that when their children go to school, they're not going to be mistreated.
Over the course of 2 grueling legislative sessions, parents made the case, convincing lawmakers the pain their children endured could be prevented for thousands of others.
So my son has had 2 dislocated knees, a broken thumb. They allowed the man to resign. He's delivering pizza in Dallas.
My daughter's been abused 3 different times in 2 different districts in 7 years. Nothing was done.
But now something has been done. Overwhelmingly approved by the legislature, the measure takes effect immediately. For the parents of children injured and humiliated by people who were supposed to protect them, there is real consolation in this victory.
Yeah. Okay, can I just give you a high five, you and all the advocates, because it took so many parents, so many people. We're going to credit Dan Patrick too. I know personally that he was fighting for this, Greg. And now the kids will be protected. We could finally give our opinions and say it's about time, right?
I've got to say, it's in my 30-year career, it's the most gratifying outcome. I think Texas is better off. This was a righteous cause. Children were being injured, and there were a lot of good special ed people out there who deserve this protection too, because it protects them from false allegations.
Right. Yeah. In the meantime, I wonder if you were surprised by the people who oppose this, because there was some pretty stiff opposition.
Yeah, but it was really quiet.
Right.
It was really quiet.
This time.
But people came at it on cost, but the cost of the technology is down. And the benefit of avoiding the care you have to give kids who get hurt, the legal battles, it just makes sense, and it gives parents some peace of mind. I can't say enough about Dan Patrick. Then Senator, now Lieutenant Governor. Without him, this doesn't happen. But it was also those parents who had to share their very private, very personal pain and convince lawmakers that this was the right thing to do for their kids. And it was just an amazing story to be part of.
Yeah. And in more ways than many of our viewers may know, you're the parent of a special needs child, so this hits very close to home for you.
It does, and I know and can relate well with the parents of the children who were injured. And, you know, I can't say enough about them. Their prayers, their letters, their voices made this happen. And Texans who are out there, they have all been touched by disability, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's a nephew, whether it's a close friend's son. And so by supporting these cameras, you are supporting them.
Right. That's when you use the media for good, right? When you can get these stories out there. And I'm so proud of you, Greg Groogan, and all the people who worked on this. But we've seen you work in the late nights and putting in the time. This is a good thing. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, guys.
No more bloodshed! No more bloodshed!
1,000 times the words rang out.
No more bloodshed! No more bloodshed!
And then 1,000 times more. In Sunnyside, there's been too much killing, too many mothers left to grieve.
No more bloodshed! No more bloodshed!
And so they walked for peace. Muslims and Christians, preachers and teachers, the young and the not so young. Their message of hope driven by a deep reverence for life and fueled by the lingering anguish of those whose children have been struck down by life-halting bullets.
We are going to march and we are going to show the faces of our children. that will deposit in the earth because somebody made the crazy decision to pull a trigger on our children. But we here to say, hell no, no more.
We're declaring peace on our streets.
So it's very important to these families that their sons and daughters are not forgotten.
Grieving still for his lost son, George Kemp Sr. says he has since come face to face with a teenage gunman.
Do I want to live or do I want to die? That's all you asked me.
Mama.
That's all you asked me. I could have killed him on the spot, but I let him go. I let him go. My God, y'all need to stop.
This Sunnyside community they walked through has drawn a ranking of second deadliest in the nation. With the lost lives come hearts broken beyond full mending.
I carried him 9 months and I had to bury my son. That's pain. That's some pain that I'll walk through every day of my life.
It is that terrible cost the peace walkers say they must wipe out. The lost potential of lives cut short. Councilman Dwight Boykin says it wasn't always so.
We had families that believed in one another, and that's what we're trying to bring back to these people, because we're losing too many young people.
It is destruction and creation at the very same time. To truly understand that seeming contradiction, you must first meet a 23-year-old carving out what most would consider a pretty darn compelling career.
Hi, my name is James Parker, and I own a mobile shredding business called Shredding on the Go. I do the shredding myself, and I really like it.
Born with the ultra-rare neurological disorder known as Allen Herndon syndrome, James has never walked and cannot talk. But in this house, Renee Parker's house, there has always been the faith-driven expectation that a beloved son would someday become a productive worker.
James is going to be employed and we're going to start a business, but at that time I had no idea what that business would be.
And so here, the focus became far less on what James couldn't do and far more on what he could.
We were talking about James's strengths and weaknesses, and his grandma said, well, when he comes to my house, he puts paper in my shredder. We had no idea how God was going to use that one skill to turn it into a business.
And a heck of a business it's become. Launching alone nearly 5 years ago with a single machine, James Parker slowly but steadily built his clientele, delivering completely confidential document destruction with mobile on-site service that's true to his company's name, Shredding on the Go.
And he knows that he is doing something meaningful.
And it gets better. When a broken arm threatened to sidetrack James's growing business, an unexpected blessing doubled the company's workforce.
I was like, I can do that job.
Tim Farrell is blind, challenged with cerebral palsy, and until the day he was hired by James Parker, had never had the opportunity to earn a dollar he could call his own.
I just feel that everybody, challenge or no challenge, needs to have some type of work.
With no fewer than 10 corporate contracts and a host of satisfied customers remaining solidly loyal, James's payroll has since exploded sixfold. Shredding on the go.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
Emma has known James since the first grade, and a year ago enlisted as a Shredding on the Go teammate.
Most disabled people are willing to work if they're given the chance.
Coy Wyatt is the latest to come aboard and may well be the most deeply grateful.
I'm not just a sponge off the government. I'm able to earn some own money and be proud that I'm able to do something.
Something that other people want and needs to be done.
It's empowering and it changes people's lives.
Responsibility with meaning, labor with value, a simple formula for self-worth, contentment, and dignity. It's how James and his mom have pushed low expectations and backward attitudes into their shredder. Right along with ton after ton after ton of paper. In Cy-Fair, Greg Groogan, Fox 26 News.
These students didn't do the work. They did not complete the assignments. They sat and they played.
Fearing retaliation, this member of the Westbury faculty has requested anonymity. She says children on her campus are being educationally shortchanged when they are rewarded with passing grades for work they haven't done.
I knew that it was not correct and it was against the law. It is cheating. You're cheating the students out of a good education.
As potential evidence, the faculty member offered this grade sheet, listing the grades of more than 30 students in a reading class, most of whom are failing. At the bottom of the page is a handwritten note instructing the teacher to elevate all failing grades above an 80. Two faculty members insist the order is signed by both the registrar and the campus principal, Jason Catchings.
I think it's all over the entire district. A lot of the teachers are being told to change those grades. Why are they changing the grade? Because they want the grades higher.
William Schreier is a teacher at Westbury and says students at the struggling school are often given passing grades for work they either refuse to attempt or fail to complete.
There's actually like a quota that you're given, no more than X, Y, or Z can have a failing grade.
Schreier says he's speaking out because he's tired of seeing students earning credit for doing little or nothing.
A lot of these kids, quite honestly, can't read, can't sign their name, can't write. When you give a test, they expect you to help them. It's part of the culture.
A senior HISD spokesman says the grade sheet in question was submitted by an associate teacher. When the teacher failed to provide substantiating evidence for failing so many students, the grades were subsequently changed. Greg Groogan, Fox 26 News.
One area that Mayor Parker noted was particularly hard hit was the Meyerland area.
Yes, and we have Fox 26's Greg Groogan there right now to talk to us about what he is witnessing. Greg, I understand some people pulled up in a boat.
Yep.
Hey, Melissa, we got a chopper overhead. We're in the Meyerland area, running mead just off of West Belfort, and we have a family here who just floated up from their home. They got about 4 feet of water in the area, 3 feet in their home. Sir, what is your name?
Frank Placencia.
Frank, tell me about your experience last night.
Well, we woke up around 1 o'clock to see about 1.5 feet of water inside the house. We corralled the kids into the highest spot in the house, and then we called my friend here, who's my stepson's dad, and he came and bailed us out, him and his buddy. We really appreciate what they did for us.
It's great to have good neighbors. Frank, is this your wife?
Yes.
And what is your name?
Jennifer Placencia.
Jennifer, tell me what you went through and what it's been like.
Well, first, when we woke up and saw the water, I was panicked. I thought everything was going to be destroyed. But of course, the first thing was that everyone we'd be safe. And when we got all the kids and the water just kept rising and rising, we were in the bed and it hit the mattress, and we went into the next bed and it hit the mattress. And then finally we went to this little boy's. Luckily, he had a bunk bed, so all of us toppled into his twin mattress on the top. And all I just kept thinking was, everybody's safe, everything can be replaced. I just had to keep telling myself. Of course, that doesn't, emotionally, you're still upset, but overall, the most important thing is that everyone was safe. And then when we were walking out, we found this. This is my, we actually have a 9-month-old, and we just dropped him off and someone's taking care of him, but this is his. So he wants to try to save it for him.
Hey, I saw you bring out some pretty precious cargo. What was that?
That was my lechita, my breast milk. That was the most important thing. We were about to leave, and I was like, no, the milk, the milk. So everyone went running back in to get the milk, and luckily we were able to save it because I'm towards the end of it, and so that's just really, really special, and I want to give that to my baby. So luckily we didn't lose that.
Hey, young man, you want to say anything about your evening?
It was really scary, and I had no idea what was going on. I've never been in a flood before, so I was scared.
Okay, you guys, well, be safe. I'm glad everybody's okay. We're going to walk right around here. Matt, follow me. I'm going to go around this way. We have another family coming through the Meyerland area here on Runningmead aboard a boat, a rescue here. It looks like they got about 4 feet of water. As you can see on this BMW over here, water's receded quite a bit, but it got at least this high, and that's plenty to make a big old mess. Looks like we have first responders with a family and an infant trudging through what looks like about 2.5 feet of standing water still here. Hey guys, welcome. Tough night? Hey, thanks for your service, first responders. We count on you and we appreciate you. Okay guys, Melissa, can you hear me?
Oh,
yeah, we
yes,
can, Greg.
What a dramatic sight there, seeing a mom cuddling her baby and just knowing what they went through. It's just overwhelming, Greg, to think about. Everybody in those homes went through something similar like this.
Hey, we've got more stories out here. Pastor! Pastor!
Leave it to Greg to be able to pull all of these people together, to be able to tell us what's going on as he makes his way over there. Remarkable to think about the one woman, too, who was able to get the breast milk. I mean, you just think of it's things like that that are so big. Let's listen in.
Salem Evangelical Lutheran Church.
And Pastor, what was it like last night?
The storm just kept raining. I came in this morning, but I've been here 33 years, and I have never seen water like this in this part of Meyerland. It was about 2.5 feet higher than it is right now, right here where we're standing. And I had to park across the street on West Belfort and wade over here this morning to get over here because it was water from here all the way over to the Kroger parking lot across the street.
Pastor, this is a new street, right?
It's a brand new street. In fact, they're still completing it, and it just went in the last few weeks.
Hey, your church was a sanctuary last night for a lady we wanted to introduce you to. Young lady, will you come here for a second? I'm going to turn around here. What is your name?
Lena Givens.
Lena, you live here in the Meyerland area.
I sure do.
Tell us about your adventure last night. Where were you? Where did you start your evening?
We started our evening at the Rockets game and then walked next door to a hotel, and they were very gracious and let us have blankets and everything.
How did you make it back to your neighborhood?
We finally got a hold of a Uber driver and went different directions. Had to cut back and come back again.
And you spent some time here at the church?
We've been here at the church for probably a couple of hours or more.
My goodness, now, you look like you've got a little life under your belt. You've been through these rainstorms before. How does this rate?
It's worse than any that I remember.
Your home is back there. What are your concerns?
My main concern is my dog, and if the house is flooded.
Well, if we get a chance, we'll go down there and take a look. We're just glad you're okay.
I'm glad I'm okay, too.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for sharing your story. You got a smile on your face. Everything will be okay.
Yeah, you just have to trust.
It's just Texas weather. Okay, guys, we're here in Meyerland. As you can see, still plenty of water. Looks like around 2 feet. It's receding. There's our first responders. They've got a dog. They've got a dog safe and sound. You know, somebody is really happy about that. We have a mom and her infant. You know, we need to appreciate these guys. They've had a long night out here protecting, serving, taking care of all of us.
I tell you what, Greg, it's some of the most dramatic video that we have seen all morning long. And I'm glad you brought up the last woman's smile that you mentioned, because she's going through so much. She has no idea what to expect and is still trying to remain positive. That's huge in this horrible time.
Every one of those people. Greg, thank you.
Hey,
we
Tom.
appreciate it. Yes.
Tom, you know, we've been through this before. You, Melissa, all of our colleagues at Fox 26. Houstonians are pretty tough. We've dealt with this. We'll bounce back, no problem. We already saw cleanup crews moving through Meyerland.
Oh,
this
absolutely.
is a great neighborhood, and it'll be tough for a little bit, but they'll get back on their feet pretty quick.
Time now for folks to roll up their sleeves and start scrubbing things clean again.
Lots of work ahead.
All right, Greg, thank you. We appreciate it. That was a bit uplifting to hear those spirits, wasn't it?
It sure was, especially seeing what's left behind right now. And I know that Greg is going to stay out there, and he will be bringing us more incredible stories. I guarantee it throughout the day right here on Fox 26.
Yeah. Bottom of the hour, 11:30. We'll be right back after a couple minutes.